Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So over the next few weeks, Mikey, we are going to embark on a series of sort of testing the whole breadth of our equipment here at Club Champion Canada and coming up with some categories of the best of series. We're going to look at some drivers, irons, fairwoods, hybrids, wedges, break them down into subcategories because I think it's important to do that. We obviously carry so much product in here that we do need to break it up into these categories in order for people who are looking for those sort of specific characteristics to then analyze which one is the best, obviously, for them.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I think this will be a good way for if someone's looking to do that last end of season purchase. Don't have the ability to get into I know, it's a shame to say, but you know, the new stuff, 2024, we'll see new product. If people are looking to make that kind of really thought after decision, hopefully with this test, we can give you the best of, most forgiving, most ball speed, and kind of go from there.
We've got some heads, I mean, really Titleist being a last year's product. Most of the other ones in here are 2023 products. I'm trying to think which of these. I think they will all, for the most part, change over. I think Mizuno, wherever it is, I think it's actually down there, will be a 2-year cycle now. So most of these are kind of products that are flipped annually. There are the odd product like Titleist, like Mizuno are now in that product cycle. Every other year, they'll release new products. So yeah, I think there's some interesting sort of comparisons to products that maybe are not out this year.
Totally.
Is the new stuff better? Is a Paradym better than a TSR? You know, Stealth 2, where does that sit? We're looking at, guys, when we talk about forgiving drivers, that's going to be our focus today. We're talking about really the golf club's ability to manage a mishit, right? So we've heard the term high MOI. We know what that means in terms of stability for the head. You know, standard deviation gets shrunk when it comes to spin rates and deviation on launch angles and ball speeds, that type of thing. So really that is our focus today. Is as much as looking at the good ones, we are going to be looking at the misses as well and looking across the board, you know, what are we seeing from these drivers?
Yeah, we wrote down earlier, where do we want to strike it? High, I mean, we're not robots, but we're going to try to hit in the toe, the heel, high in the face, low in the face. I mean, obviously center is great, but to really see if that weight's working, you gotta miss it.
Definitely, and obviously, anytime we're doing testing, guys, we are trying to make the test meaningful for you guys. We're trying to make sure the data means something. With this, I think what we will kind of try to do is leave in pretty much as much as we can, unless it's an awful shot. You know, that does you know, does not represent the data set in itself. We will be leaving it in because our ability or our sort of for our assessment of that mishit, that's what it is that we're looking for here. We know that's the nature of golf. We don't get second serves in golf. We don't get the ability to retake shots unless it's with a 2-shot penalty. You know, we do want to see what these drivers do compared to one another. So we have 7. Okay. What do we have?
We're gonna have TSR2, Paradym, Stealth Plus or Stealth 2, Srixon ZX5, not the LS.
Not the LS.
Aerojet, and a Ping Max G430, and we've got the Mizuno ST-Z.
And we have selected what we feel, guys, is sort of, normally most companies now are releasing 3 products. There's a low spin product, there's a high MOI product, normally there's a draw product. We're looking at the middle product of the neutral product, because anything with a bias to the CG, like an STX or, you know, the Stealth 2 HD, those types of sort of drivers, although they are higher MOI, they are also very, very heel biased in their weighting system. So they're really designed to do one thing, and that's kind of eliminate some right and promote some draw. So we don't feel like that's the nature of this test. We're going to be testing the drivers with the most neutral CG. Okay?
Cool.
Let's start with Mizuno.
Okay, Faraz, and for this test, we're gonna run all the heads through Old Faithful for you. Diamante GT 6X.
6S.
6S, okay.
So we are gonna try to, Mikey, manage the speed element of this. We know the small amount of people who play in that kind of 110 club head speed with the driver. We actually want to try and make this a test that covers a much wider audience. Let's bring it down to, call it between 100 and 100.
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
Plus or minus a couple of miles an hour on 100.
Yeah.
Okay, on that. So starting with the Mizuno. Actually, I've never hit this.
Okay.
I've
never hit it either.
Okay. So standard length, 45 and a quarter, Pro V1. For the test, we are going to use all 10.5 degree drivers.
Okay.
Okay, I think that manages the 100 mile an hour club head speed a little bit better, making sure we've got enough launch. They won't be the lowest spin drivers out there, but I don't think that's the objective with these anyway.
Okay, let's see it. Good swing.
Mm-hmm. No, it's okay. Done?
Yeah.
All right. Up next, Callaway.
The big Paradym.
What's going to be really interesting in this, and I've seen it in these two drivers, getting a look at from the consumer standpoint when you chop and change between different drivers. This is such a different looking driver than the Mizuno.
Yeah.
The Mizuno sat a bit open. This actually sits a little closed. This looks so different from the last
I find the Paradym is so like elongated from front to back. It looks massive. It looks bigger than 460, but it's not. It's a better swing.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Strike, really good. I think for the, sake of testing the most forgiving driver, having the ability to still kind of move weight around on this driver. It's not the draw bias driver. It's not just the LS version where you can only put weight forward. You still have a bit of room. I mean, if we were in a fitting right now, you'd probably slide that weight a little into fade just to help that face.
Definitely.
But I mean, those last couple strikes really good. Looking down on it, looks very easy, like you could kind of spray it all over the face.
Definitely. Aerojet, Mikey?
Yep. How's that sit to you?
Good. Very neutral.
Okay.
I like it. Be interested to see what the lie angle looks more upright than the other two.
Yeah.
It's a wee bit quick. 105.
Came back for you. It's a hell of a toey miss, and it's
done well.
Come back 5 yards right to center. Good swing. I don't want to start seeing you just bunt drives next time we play. That's not fair.
Why?
Well, because you haven't missed a fairway.
I like this. This is...
No. You like it until you know you've got an extra 25 yards in the tank. Really good.
This thing's performing really nicely.
I mean, the strike collection is so good. All right, Fraz, TSR2.
Maybe a little pre-tournament favorite?
I mean, it's
got to be in the conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a popular one for us, and I'm pretty sure you had one of these at one point this year.
I did not. I've had a 4 and a 3, I've not had a 2. Maybe add to the collection. Yeah, let's see. Good looking driver, very neutral. I mean, we've seen some different ones. Some Mizuno to me sat a little open. Callaway sat a little shut. Aerojet was nice and square, but sat a bit upright. This is kind of like just what Titleist is. It's looks
classic.
Good. Yeah. Very neutral. Probably my biggest miss hit yet, Mikey. Very low in the head.
Yeah, low in the head, just falls out of the sky.
Tell you what, that's a great miss though.
Yeah.
When we saw one miss with the Mizuno, went to 31. That one stayed at 24.
24, yeah. And your ball speed doesn't really fluctuate that much.
No, that was good.
Swing. Good swing.
That was the best one with this one for sure.
Yeah, really good.
Amazing how much better that felt, yet it doesn't show that it was that different.
Yeah. It's interesting that it's definitely a lower strike, which is good to show on the test that, you know, even in that low area, it's not boosting your spin and you're not losing any distance. That's hammered. Spinny.
I do quite like the feel of this one as well. I'm just very
Strike's definitely higher. Higher from obviously TSR to Stealth, but that spin's gone up, yeah.
Interesting. This one feels very forgiving. Like I'm expecting to look up and see some not so good ones here, and I'm looking up and seeing some pretty good results.
Definitely that's the spin off this driver, those robbing you maybe a little bit of distance.
Yep. Go a little faster.
Yeah, it was a good strike. Right out of the middle.
Yeah, that was a much higher level of effort to get 103.
You can see that strike fluctuates a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, Mikey boy.
Okay.
Last but not least.
Yeah, Srixon ZX5. Clean. Very, very clean.
That is a good looking driver.
When we tested this earlier in the year with LS and stuff like that, I did quite enjoy LS. I don't think these get maybe as much of a chance as everyone else in the driver world, but it definitely looks good. Sounds quite good.
It does sound quite good, but...
And when you were saying earlier, some drivers sat more upright, some sat, a little close. How's this sit to you?
On the flatter side, but quite neutral.
Okay.
I do like it.
You try harder to keep that open a bit.
I just shifted my path a little bit more left. That'll just hold.
Looks like it just floats up there, though. 3,200 spin.
Yeah.
Good strike. It just high.
It's got a high strike.
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting how low TSR2 was and how high ZX5 is.
Okay. We tested 7 clubs. Foresight gives us 6 on the comparison page. We're going to do 3 then 4, and then we'll kind of try and pick the best of the bunch. What were your takes?
The one thing, when this title is forgiving drivers, the one thing I will say is the ones that had maybe the lower strike or the higher strike, and you still got really good spin, good distance, and it stayed, came back for you down the center line. TSR2 did that really, really well, which to me screams forgiveness.
Yeah. So there was the first, so not in that order. We done Mizuno, then Paradym, then Aerojet. So let's look at those first. Ball speed wise, let's go over to club data. Efficiency was the same, right?
Same,
So
yep.
basically a wash. 103 in the club head speed. We did say Paradym felt like it was sitting a bit more closed and it had a bit more of that draw bias to it. It did feel like that for me. Aerojet was great, wasn't it?
Dead in the middle every time.
Yeah.
The higher spinning of the drivers, but even you look at Strike, Strike is super consistent. Really launched a little higher as well.
Yeah, so I think Aerojet out of that little grouping was the one that's kind of stood out to me.
Definitely.
Bit spinny, but again, in the fit, easy to manage that level of spin. If we look at standard deviation, guys, that's a big part of this, is us looking at standard deviation. We know Paradym's a ball speed monster, and it showed that it was the best on standard deviation. It was also the fastest, and it was the most consistent. With this AI technology they've been using to enhance the design of the face and obviously make it more consistent across the face, this is where you would see that right there. All right, let's look at the next one. So we hit in that order, Mikey. So after that, we went TSR2 Stealth, Ping, and Srixon.
Yep.
Let's again see. Yeah, we definitely noticed that Srixon was going
leftward
wanted
bias.
to go left.
Totally.
Wanted to certainly do
Ping,
that.
Ping fairly straight, pretty tight dispersion as well.
Yep, good as well, wasn't it? Stealth, I quite liked the Stealth. It was pretty decent.
Spinnier option.
Spinnier, and then not quite as quick. Yeah, Ping was pretty good. So the two, again, I guess I want to see. Let's leave that and just see what it does. Yeah, Titleist was just a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite as quick either. Yeah, for me, I think it came down to the Cobra and the Ping. Aerojet being a little bit quicker, Ping being better on launch conditions. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, high launch, low spin, sign us up.
Like we said about the Callaway driver with the face and how it's engineered to produce consistency on the ball speed, Ping have always had the formula to produce sort of mastery when it comes to launch conditions. Looking at where that CG location is, and like if you look at every wood test we've done with Ping for the last 2 years, how many times have we brought up their term?
Spincency all the time.
But it's always true.
Yeah.
It's always there.
Standard deviation, super tight.
Insane. 32.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I mean, it doesn't move.
No. And if you're looking for forgiveness, obviously, again, that high launch, low spin, you struck it really well.
Yeah.
You didn't really lose any distance on it. And you have that movable weight like we talked about earlier. That little extra fitting kind of style that you want to add to it, you could really, really tighten that even more.
Definitely. Actually, well, let's put Paradym back in there. Actually, it was unfair to knock that out there because actually it's pretty quick. Yeah, I think those are the three we should look at. And so that was unfair to take Paradym out of that because really when it comes down to it, yes, Paradym had a left bias for me, which is why it had a wider dispersion circle. But quick, the launch angle was down because the face was left.
Yep.
Right? Yep. It was a little bit in the closed side. Spin was very, very good. Interesting. So the two neutral drivers being certainly Ping and Cobra. Little bit more draw bias to Paradym, which is where let's have a look over here. Yeah, good on dynamic. All really, really good at efficiency.
Yeah, super consistent.
That's three tremendous drivers.
Yeah, really good.
I think that's what it comes down to right there. I think in terms of forgiving drivers, guys, I think I would be leaning and kind of nudging you guys towards those three.
Totally.
Yeah.
That G430 Max, like you said, Ping's always been a super forgiving driver for us ever since G400 with that high MOI.
Yeah.
But that Paradym, you get the best of both worlds with some speed and some forgiveness, a no-brainer.
Love it. I'm sure club head speed was, it was very, very consistent. Interesting stuff. These tests are fascinating. I mean, I'm hitting so many shots there, to be honest, that I'm not really able to track. Like, it's different when you're this side of the desk. You can sort of track the performance and you can sort of have a feel for what's going on. I lost feel for what was going on about halfway through.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have told you when I walked away. Like you guys said how good the Aerojet was, and I had honestly forgot how good the Aerojet was by the time it got to the end of the test. So really, really cool to see. 3 heads and 3 different spin windows. I think each person who's watching this, who's selfishly looking at this for their own information to help, whatever it is that you're struggling with, whether it's too low in the spin, Aerojet seems great. Whether it's too high in the spin, Ping seems to control that the best. And then obviously from there you can really really pick whatever it is that you need the most.
Yeah, good point.
Good stuff. Okay, guys, more to come in our best of series. This is our starting point looking at forgiven drivers. We are going to move into the ball speed monsters next, right? There's one thing looking at, which one is kind of forgiven, which one's going to find fairways, really get that fairways hit percentage up. If you have a good sort of approach to the green sort of percentage in your game, your strokes gained is very, very good into the green, but you just need to hit more fairways. This is the test for you. The next one is, do you just need to get out there further?
Yeah.
Right?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. We're working that one next. Stay tuned for more, guys. We'll see you again soon.